What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Palantir update video, ticker symbol PLTR, where we take a look at how Palantir stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Palantir stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. So a small red day for Palantir, pretty much flat on the day. So we'll take a look at how we traded over the course of the day, and then we'll take a look at the market as well, since I pointed something out yesterday and I kind of want to follow up on that, and then we'll take a look at what that means for the stock moving forward. So wasting no more time, let me get right into it. So we closed here yesterday in the 23s, and in the after hours, right, we sold off. Things were looking kind of nasty, but thankfully, right, in the pre-market, we start to recover. We got a really nice bounce, got all the way up to the 24.55. But come market open time, we clearly did not care about the pre-market action. We tried really hard to bounce at this 24 level, as you can see here, bounce, but eventually broke below it, broke below our 2360s level as well. Kept falling until our 2270, which was a little bit sooner than our 2248, about 22 cents or so. So that was nice. Pushed up again, struggled to break through the 23s, struggled then after breaking the 23s to break the 24s. And then we kept bouncing in between, right? So what you saw was support, resistance, kind of support, broke below it, resistance, support, resistance, and then closed in between those. So that right there, you guys, is why we draw those levels. They are levels of support, which means if we're above it, right, and we go down, we are going to bounce off of that level. If we are going up to a level, then that would be a level of resistance, so we are going to hit up against it, and that's the point when there's a lot of selling pressure, and so we are unable to break through. We don't have the momentum to break through, right? So that's why this level, the second half of the day, you could see pretty much perfectly trades within our lines, bounce, resist, or support, resistance, support, resistance. So that's, not a bad trading day for Palantir. What I like about Palantir is that it didn't really partake in the overall sell-off. If you take a look at Apple, it went from 124 to 121, right? S&P, same thing. It was red on the day, about 0.5% or so. Went from trading in the 384s to the 380s. So compared to all of that, right, Palantir did not really partake in a crazy sell-off at the end of the day, which was a fun surprise. Now, up 4 cents after hour, down 6 cents on the day, so we're pretty flat. Now, let's take a look at S&P, and I'll point out something that I pointed out yesterday on the daily chart. And that was that, I pointed out, hey, I think there is some more downside in the overall market, right? This isn't necessarily specific to Palantir, but the overall markets. And the reason I said that is because, look, we've got the 34 EMA here, and we broke below it, and we closed between the 34 and the 55. If we scroll back to late December, early January, and even this day on late January, we bounced off the 34 EMA, which when we went down, bounced. That's it. However, this time when we broke through the 34, we went all the way down to the 55 EMA, bounced, and then the next day had a green day. So that's what I was worried about. If we didn't capture the 34 EMA, that we would drop to the 55 EMA, and that's exactly what we got today. So S&P dropped to that, bounced up. Now, I'm still not convinced with the sell-off at the end of the day that the bounce is done. I think we could go back to visit that 55 one more time, and if the 55 doesn't hold, we could go to the 89. I'm very optimistic, hoping for the best while preparing myself for the worst, right? So if that happens next week, I want to be prepared rather than caught by surprise, because I wasn't considering the downsides. Now, Palantir has been a little weird lately, right? We were trading in a bull pennant. Again, I need to draw that line back on, but we had a line here that took us from 25 to 30s, and then and then 45, right, was the high we made a couple days after. Sold off, rounded up, ran into earnings, surprise earnings lost, and lockup expiration took us all the way back down to the 24s, and that was a great buying opportunity. It looked like, until the markets just started to not be fun anymore, right? So that's why we've seen a little bit of a sell-off this week, both related to lockup expiration, with, you know, we're getting news that the CEO or the co-founder is selling X amount of shares, and the COO, Sham, is selling a bunch of shares. But if you take a look at the numbers, they're still holding on to a ton of shares, right? The reason we're seeing the selling is because they were under a lockup expiration, so they're just cashing in on some of the money, right? Nothing to be crazy worried about. We would probably do the same if we had a shit ton of shares. Excuse me, if we had a ton of shares just laying around. So nothing to be worried about there. The other thing I want to point out today, what I liked about today, is we actually drew this mid-22s line based on the bounce last time here, and we got a really nice bounce there. So I'm hoping that that's the bottoming out, but again, staying vigilant in case it isn't. So talk about future levels of support, future levels of resistance. We'll see what we see. So first level of support that we have coming up, like we saw today, right? We're bouncing between those two levels, is this 2360 level here. And then if we drop that, we've got the kind of low of today, 2270s, which is pretty close to our 2248. So again, first level I'm watching 2360, second level I'm watching 2248. On the upside, I'm watching that exact level that we were hitting up against multiple times throughout the course of the day, 2406. To see if we can, you know, have enough momentum early next week to finally be able to break through that level. If we do, I'm looking at 2539 next, then I'm looking at 2682. Those are the levels that I'm looking at on the upside. I do hope that this mid-22s is the bounce that we were hoping for. That's the bottoming out, and we start to push up from here. But, you know, understand that, you know, it's really important to follow the markets and not to just buy thinking this is the lowest it'll be. I did buy some Palantir earlier this week in the, I think, $24 range. Added a leap last Friday, I believe, or the Friday before, I'm not sure. But it looked like a really good buy because Palantir started to run back up, and then we are back down here in the 22s. But that's okay because I'm holding Palantir long term. See a lot of potential. I mean, we got the 3M deal happening with their supply chain. We got the IBM deal happening. We got so much to look forward to with this company that I am totally okay. My leaps go out to 2023, and then my shares, obviously, I have all the time that I want to hold them for. So not too worried there. What I do want to point out is it's great that we are staying above that 89 EMA. You guys, if we zoom out a little bit, you can clearly see that Palantir, with the nice run that it had not really visited this 89 EMA many times. Here we were between the 55 and the 89, got up above real quick, and now you know, we've hit up against it a couple times. We've gone below it throughout the course of the day, but closed above it. So I'm hoping that continues next week. That 89 EMA currently is at 2373, so we are super close to it. That's why I'm keeping a close watch on that 89 exponential moving average. Hopefully we stay above it and use that as a level of bounce to push up towards the 55 exponential moving average, coming in at $27.19. But I think that now that lockup expiration's done, now that, you know, earnings surprise is done, now that the market has been weak for about a week, we're getting kind of oversold, right? We're at 38 RSI, 30 is considered oversold, so we're super close to that. Actually have been for a little bit, so hopefully we see some buying coming back in, and we start to push back up. I'm okay with it pushing up slowly, taking its time, so we're not, you know, seeing these crazy swings of moving 10, 15, 20% in a week. I'm hoping for a steady recovery, slow recovery, but hopefully what I'm looking for is a, you know, establish of where the bottom is, and we can, you know, start to push up. So hoping that today was the bottom. But again, I have nothing to suggest that it was, other than the bounce off of the 2250 level that we bounced off of last time. So staying vigilant that, hey, S&P is what I'm looking at, and with the way it closed today, there clearly is still some weakness, some choppiness that we can expect. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that and keep you guys posted on that. But again, I mean, Palantir long term, still love the company, still love the stock, just not trading the way we wanted to right now, but that's okay. Give me an opportunity to buy some more shares this week, which may or may not be a good idea depending on how next week is, right? So As always, I'll keep you guys posted on that. Hope you guys all had an okay trading week. I was red 4 out of the 5 days, so if that was you, that's totally fine. Right there with you. Hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. Let's do it next week. Let's do it better next week. Hopefully we see a green week. So have a good weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.